Okay, this is day 3 extended episode. So I want to get into, one thing before I get involved in just conversation with myself is that, you could record a whole video and find out that you never turned the mic on. So sometimes you just work with it, right? And then you go back and start from square one. But in this video, I am just going to, discuss it. I don't really want the videos to be about the challenge, but that's why I did. It's more than just challenge. Okay. And it seems like every day I'm adding something. Hey, I can do this. Hey, I can do that. And what I'm trying to do is I'm shaking things up in my system, right? Now, I'm reading, like I told you in an earlier video, that I'm reading a book called The Source. I think this is my third time. I should read it again after I'm done. I have the book, I have the audio, and I think I'll take the book and just kind of mark it all up because there's a lot of good information. It seems like when you make a book or write a book, excuse me, that just fill pages up. So you have to highlight what's most important to yourself or me and myself when I read a book. But it just, I think what happens in life, and I don't ever want to make light of a situation. I try not to do that or someone else because this is why. Not only is it wrong, because a lot of times that person doesn't have the ability to make a wise decision. Okay. And like with myself, I can look back in my years and look at, wow, I mean, I have more of a laundry list of things that I screwed up on than I did, things that, that I hit the mark right on the target. And so I think it all comes down to hard decisions, right? It comes out to doing things that are hard. And I think with the brain, it always wants to take the path of least resistance. Okay. And I just find it that by doing that, I tend to get lax and I don't even realize I'm doing it until over a period of time. Now, I'm sure you find this with yourself too, is that you look at things like, you know, this didn't overcome me at one night. It's just like going to school. You don't get a degree that day, right? You have a huge pile in front of you that you have to sift through. And it's all has to do with studying, uh, testing, the ins and out of all that education, right? The same with the job. I mean, you'll walk into a job and you're professional at what you're doing. You know where everything's at. You know what drawer, computer, what room, who to talk. None of that. It comes with the period of trials and errors, right? And I think that's the way you're too. And like I say, I don't like to make light about other people's situations because I don't know where they're at in life. And I know I have a lot to work. I know that I'm a work in progress, even at my age. And it seems like whenever I judge somebody, it won't be long before that comes on me. And I don't know if I just curse myself or if that's just the way life works out. It's but I look at people that I met this gentleman today and he wasn't very talkative, and I like to strike up conversations. I mean, even though I'm an introvert, I can walk up to you at a gas pump or in a grocery store and just start talking to you. And like I've known you for years. And most people, they will interact with me. It's amazing. Sometimes I just do social experiments like that. Not I'm curious. But this gentleman was way overweight. He was going to get his uh, checkup at the heart vascular center. and he was way overweight. It was a decaying. He walked hunched over, and I would say he's probably in his 50s. And I just maybe you can help me out in the comments. I just want to know, and this is a question I've always asked myself when I meet people that everybody that when I meet people, I know that they and everyone else has the highest potential, right? Your brain, you're always living down to what's stagnant. What's the path of least resistance? What's the easiest way I can get through this day, right? Whether it's in your eating pattern, whether it's in exercising, whether it's in confrontation, whether it's in, uh, you know, list of things that have to be done, you always take the easier route. A lot of times you get things done and you feel so great. It's just like when I work out, I think, man, some days it's like a struggle to actually get moving, and then I think, well, when I get done, I'm gonna feel great. And then I can notch this up and I don't have to worry about my muscles relaxing and deteriorating back down to just flab, right? But this gentleman, I looked at him and I thought, you're going to vascular center. And he told me that he has to get a checkup. And even for a couple steps, he was out of breath. He was bent over, hunching, and I just felt like so bad for him. And I always think, when do you actually say enough? Is it time when they're throwing a shovel of dirt on you? Or is that you have to come to Jesus meeting with yourself and say, hey, listen, I can't continue. And that's a lot of times what I do. I notice that I, I'm kissing the bottom of the barrel and I'm thinking, dude, I mean, don't hit rock bottom. I mean, you might be at the bottom, but there's still ways to get out of here. And just like with my weight, I lost 46 pounds, like I said earlier, and um, that's what I lost. But I actually lost more. I lost another 15 pounds, but I gained that back because I'm always trying to improve myself. And I look at some of these things, oh, you can, try this and you can eat that and that. Everybody's different, just like your brain, way people learn. Um, we all have the same brain. It's all does the same thing, but the way it is constructed, DNA, past influences, parents, the way you were raised, all these things is the way that you learn differently, right? You take things on in a different challenge. Some people can automatically catch on. Some people are visual learners. Some people are, uh, they like to read. It's the way it just works for you. Whatever works for you, you do that. Um, but I just don't. I look at people and I think, what does it take for this person to say, hey, what I've done to myself, um, I need to, just like, okay, maybe you have, issue that it's just part of you, whatever that may be. But there's got to be a point where you can work the rest of the things out that are wrong with you. You know what I mean? So let's say that you have, a degenerative bone issue or whatever. I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but you can stop these things by what you eat. I watched this video the other day, and this guy had a a counter full of beef, and he said a ground beef, and he said, "This is your fat over a year." Okay, he said, "This is your fat over a year," and I said, "Okay." So, and then he just kept going on. He said, "Okay, so if you add, you know, 300 calories a day to your BMI, what you're supposed to be at. Say if your calorie intake is 2,200 calories a day for where you are at your present moment. Okay. 2,500, 3,000, whatever it is. And you add 300 calories a day, and it's easy to add calories. I mean, you could put cream in your coffee. You could eat a bag of chips, Doritos, or a piece of cake, just something that you add every day And it doesn't have to be the same thing. It could be a batch of cookies. It could be uh, a food item. It could be, carrots. I don't know. But you add something different that's above your calorie intake at where you're at the present time. And what do they say? A pound of fat is like 3,600 calories. So if you divide 300, multiply 300 to get to 3,600, whatever the math is. I don't have a calculator in front of me and I'm not that smart to figure that out. But over a period of a year, those calories every day, what is that? 356 times, uh, 300? That's quite a bit. And you divide that by um, 3,600. That's a lot of poundage that you're putting on. And then your body has to keep up with that. So then the next year, you add more. So if it was, 2,500 calories a day at your BMI, now it's 2,800. Now you're going to make it 3,100. You see where I'm going with that? And before long, you're so big that it's a gradual. And I think that's what happens to most people. They don't see the effects of weight gain instantly. And I think it's just like taking it off. Okay, so if you're at 2,500 and you reduce down to 300 calories over a period of a year, then you minus all that. And then the next year, you take that, before long, you get to the body weight that you feel comfortable with. Okay. Um, so it's with learning the same thing. In this book, this gal was talking about learning a language, and she already knew a couple languages, and she was adding this on, and she was spending an hour and a half a day learning this new language, which was more difficult than the other 2 to 3 language she already knows. And she get to an hour into it and just be exhausted. She was just exhausted because it was a challenge. And over a period of months, she mastered it, you know. And I think that's a lot of times we don't do hard things. We don't do things that challenge us. We don't do things that we need to get over. Okay. And it's just like me. I do things and I start something. And if it's not, it's like when you read a book. I don't know how many books I've read over the years that I've got through, but there's awful lot more that I started to read. And it was just, oh, it was like pulling teeth trying to get through it. It was so bad. And whether it's a project, I've done a lot of thousands of different projects in my life that I finished, but there's thousands of more that I got into and I said, you know what? This is just a drag on me. So I think that you can feel the same way. You need to understand, and I do too. And that's where the whole brain thing comes in. Once you do something and you make a commitment to doing that, you can't stop. And that's why I'm focused with this 100 challenge and why I decided to make videos of it, because I just feel like I need to get through it, right? I need to make myself accountable and put myself out there so I actually finish it. Now, I don't know if after the 100 days, if I can do 100 push-ups in one sitting or push-up. What do you want to say? It's not really a sitting. I guess that's not the right word I'm looking for. So continuous. So 1 to 100, I'm done. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing that every day, or if I'm going to keep adding more. And I don't need to make a video of that, but I'm just saying. But it would be nice to every day to do 100 push-ups, 100 air squats, and 100 push-ups. Now, right at this present time, the most difficult thing is sit-ups, because sit-ups are tough for me. Air squats, not so much. I could see short, maybe in a week or two, I can do 100 straight. Right now I'm doing 25, 30. So, um, but what I'm trying to do is I don't really want to do it all at one time. Like within 5 minutes. I want to break it up through the day so I am not, staying stationary or stagnant in different parts of the day where I'm constantly working out in the morning and then I don't do anything the rest of the day. I don't want to be like that. I want to be able to stop, do an exercise, and then continue what I was doing and then stop, that type of thing. So my body is constantly moving all throughout the day. So when I was in construction for many years, I mean, I've done everything that has to do with that. I was able to move constantly 10, 12 hours a day without stopping. It was just, I ate my lunch, ate my breakfast, ate close to dinner on the run, but I was moving, you know, picking up things and moving from here to there. So I was constantly moving. So, but what's funny about that? I still gained weight. And it was amazing to me the amount of lifting that you do, the amount of air squats and walking and climbing and all these things you do every day, but you could still gain weight. So I think that's I will stop the video for today and just set on that. So I hope you guys found value in this. And if you do, give me the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and continue watching. I appreciate it. I don't know. I'm just looking at people find their new path. Maybe it might be something different to you. Maybe it might be speaking to somebody, a relationship, or getting a job done around where you live, or something at your job that you say, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna complete this, and I'm gonna finish it, and I'm gonna be better at it." So that'd be nice to hear. So you guys have a great day. I will see you tomorrow, and take it easy. Well, I shouldn't even say that. Take it easy. That's a bad term, isn't it? Take it easy. Take it hard. No, that's even kind of bad too. Stay focused. There you go. I'll do that. Have a great day.